Wow, I really want to flip right now, but I cannot because the first 15 seconds of this video will be demonetized if I use any vulgarity, so I'm going to stay away from it for the next 10 seconds. So someone in my Discord server actually asked the question, what does this mean? To make it easier to complete trials, the mechanics have been adjusted for this event. You can select equipment presets, manual controls are disabled during combat, and you can skip the combat process. Okay, firstly, let's just deal with the first sentence here to make it easier to complete trials. Disabling manual controls does not make it easier, it makes it harder. And number two, by skipping, okay, so you're saying that, okay, I just keep spamming skip until I manage to get the score that I want. Is this what trials are supposed to be? Because this leads me to the main point of today's video, which is you remove manual controls. Cancel this immediately. I hate this so much. Now, the reason why I'm so pissed off is because I managed to acquire the top placement in the current trial because I used Adrena with Embla and I ran it completely manually and I completely busted the whole content because I used my brains instead of just running things automatically. So it's saying that this trial, which used to be a manual mode, a manual preferred mode, because this allows you to play around in different comps, allows you to play around in different ways for you to use different equipment sets. Like for example, I abused the relief equipment set. I also abused a lot of other things, to make the comp work. But that required a lot of thought process. That required a lot of brainstorming and just sitting down with one of my friends, Agni. You guys have heard of him before. We worked so hard to formulate this team and it worked flawlessly. And this also helped so many players achieve better scores because now they know the secret, they know what they can do with the aspects that they have. And with the new Adrena Esper that exists in the game, right? You created this Esper, and now players are finally able to use these Espers to perfection. And for the game to just say, okay, we're just going to completely remove it because it's just suddenly not fair to the whales, right? Because the leaderboards used to be filled with the top whales. Everyone in the top few leaderboards had like R6 Tevers, R6 whatever, R6 everything, and they were just doing content super easily. But now that I'm starting to beat the top whales by running it manually, they're like, okay, no, we're going to remove manual control, and instead now everything is automatic and you can only skip the combat process. And why this pisses me off so much is obviously this definitely helps players with more resonances, because if you have higher resonances, you'd be able to unlock a lot more disgusting effects. So for example, Yunchuan, right, if you have resonances, you're automatically going to win. Tever, if you have resonances, you're automatically going to win in PvE content. And there are so many other espers who work so well with the right resonance, like Valeria, for example. And I mean, like, there are a bunch of other espers, right? So the thing is, they released Adrena, who is very much strictly a manual play esper, because you can only make full use of her by spamming a lot of your first skills in order to make her work, and that makes Embla really broken. Now the thing is, I don't blame Adrena for this, I blame Embla for being designed this way. So they kind of like, oh, we fucked up on Embla's design, we completely fucked up and didn't consider that Adrena would make her broken. So we're actually going to nerf all this shit, we're not going to let you have your fun anymore, we're actually going to take it away, remove manual control in the trials, and only allow you auto content and to skip the combat process. Now, why I hate the skipping so much, I'm not sure that I mentioned it already, but it's because this content is now just reduced from something that was creative, or something that at least allowed creativity, to simply just pressing the skip button on and on and on until you get the best score that you can possibly have with your current team. And that is how they are going to determine the scoring system, which is completely pay to win, right? So the player with the best equipment, with the best resos, with the best espers, will be able to skip better than you will ever skip, and this is how they're going to score you accordingly. This content just became extremely pay to win, freaking extremely pay to win, and completely just not fun anymore, because you cannot manual stuff, you cannot actually physically control your espers and play strategically, which is what Dislyte was initially supposed to be, a strategic content. So like I said, instead of making espers balanced and good, they decided to make them broken and then punish the players afterwards by removing such important detail in all of these content. And this is not the first time that they have punished players' creativity. They have done the same back then when Zelma used to be able to one-shot Fafnir. They decided to add damage restrictions to Fafnir, so Zelma was no longer able to one-shot Fafnir anymore. There were some other speedrun teams that were just completely scuffed. And of course, using poison comps in like the Ritual Miracles, for example. Why is it the case that they added resistances to poison in Ritual Miracles? Because they don't want content to be way too easy for you, so they actually artificially made it harder for you for whatever reason, and they thought that it was a good idea. And I mean, the same is true for practically every single content in this game. So like Andrus, for example, there's poison resistance on him. They made him a little bit more pay-to-win centric by making Tever the best alternative, the best choice for beating Andrus. And then we also have the Desolate Lens, which is just pay-to-win heaven, right? As long as you have all of the important important espers, and in fact, you need many specific important espers in order for your desktop lens to even have like regular EX++, maybe not Shadowfire per se, but for the rest of the shadow bosses, it is extremely important that you have specific key espers. Most of them are Shimmer legendaries like Unas, Shenpin. Okay, Alice is not really a Shimmer legendary, but she is also one of them. And then of course we have RTA and Point War and Knockout. All of these PvP content where the rarest espers or the R6 espers, they are going to shine the most. I mean, that is extremely obvious. And then we also have stuff like Infinity Tower, where if you do not have certain espers, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to be able to clear any of the top floors unless you get super lucky or you just have really good equipment sets to begin with, which then goes back to esper restrictions. But without jumping too far ahead, I'm just extremely pissed off that they are still punishing players' creativity by using so many restrictions so that you need to pull for certain espers because they just don't want the game to be so easy for the player. They just don't want the player's experience to be that good. I really hope that Dislyte wakes the fuck up on this. Like, they need to stop fucking up, especially there's one main thing that is being leaked a lot right now, which is something to do with the espers and extra resonances involved with the espers. I'm not going to leak exactly what that is because I'm not allowed to do so, but honestly, just stop all this shit because I think moving forward, I'm probably going to quit the game, and I am not going to do it so soon, but I am going to quit this stupid garbage of a game as soon as another better gacha comes around because I'm kind of done with their shit and all their stupid ass mistakes, and I'm just completely fed up with this nonsense. I don't understand the point of playing this game anymore when it's just a complete blitz fest. I mean, I have no issues with blitzing like mundane stuff, right? Like your ritual miracles and all. Those are still okay. But the moment they introduce Blitz into Point War, and then they introduce Blitz into Knockout, and then they introduce Blitz into now the Trials as well, what the hell are you even playing in the first place, right? So these are just starting to sink in right now, and this kind of annoys me a lot. And sad to say, I will not be sticking around with Dislyte forever, and that is going to change really soon.